Hello, everyone, and once again, a very warm welcome to another episode of ChaiNet, the agentic commerce podcast exploring how brands are building in an AI world. Most gym memberships end up the same way. You sign up in January with big plans, and by March, you're paying for something you'll never touch again. The gym keeps charging you, or they force you probably initially to take an yearly membership. You keep meaning to cancel, but everyone pretends this is normal, and that's how it goes. At least that's what's happened with me the two times I've tried to join the gym. Anish Menon thinks this is insane. He left his software engineering job to build LIFTR Strength and Conditioning, a boutique gym brand that's now in 8 locations across 3 countries, all bootstrapped, no money raised from investors. In today's conversation, we explore what he learned in 4 years at the outfit gym before starting Lifter, how his tech background shapes how he thinks about retention, and why competing against Culfit's $667 million is actually easier when you're bootstrapped. And of course, we're going to discuss the business model of a gym and what he is doing different. So let's welcome Anish. Hello, Anish. A very warm welcome to ChaiNet.
Hello, hi. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. So, Anish, let's go back to 2013, if I'm not wrong, right? That's when you joined your first company as a software engineer, working, I think, in banking across UK and India.
Yeah,
So, what did your day look like then, and what was your life then?
my first job was with Accenture. So this was right out of college. I did my college in Chennai, and immediately, I think 2 weeks after my college ended, I started my job. So and I moved to Bangalore, and
Right.
and I used to live in probably around 30 kilometers away from where I used to stay. I used to work, and the day pretty much was 2 hours in the bus, like the Accenture bus that they used to provide, right? 2 hours in
Right.
the bus to work, and then I reach by 10 a.m. and then I finish up work, and then there's 2 hours back, so I'm back home by 9 p.m. So pretty much the entire day spent at work, and it was good. I think it was a good first job. Honestly, I'll not say it was time badly spent, because
Of course, I
at the
think
end of the day,
during that
yeah.
time, I passed out in 2012, and Accenture at that time was like, the thing. It was the fang
Yeah,
yeah, of
yeah,
Indian IT
yeah,
software at
yeah,
that time.
yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, it was good. I think whatever whatever structure and whatever kind of like process that we used to always feel back then, like if I have to order a highlighter, I have to go through so much of trouble, I have to fill a form and raise a request and all those things.
Right.
But I think now I can understand why that's important, right? Especially in a company of scale, it's hard to keep track unless you have these kind of structure and systems in place. So
Of course.
that kind of I got that kind of a learning, like having being in a very structurized kind of an environment was good. But yeah, I was there for like almost 6 years, I think beyond 6 years, almost 7 years actually,
Right.
across India and the UK. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, of course. I think processes initially, when you're when you're starting out, you feel that processes are an overkill, but eventually
Mm,
you understand how important it is to have processes.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. As in, I
And
think.
when did you?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, please.
No, I meant, I think initially, they might slow you down, your work might move faster. But I think, let's say, for example, even in the software system, in a setup where, let's say you have to leave tomorrow and someone else comes and takes your space. If you don't have all these systems written down and all these playbooks and all these things ready, that you can never pass this on. These things can't live for life, right? So
Of
I
course.
think that definitely helps to keep the company going in the long
100%,
term.
100%. And these days, I have the other day I was talking to a founder, and she was like that if I am not there, I ask my team to check with my chat GPT because my AI knows everything about me. So ask the AI, and it'll answer probably the closest to what I would have answered,
Hmm.
but rather
That's
than
that's
rather than
risky, but
asking the
still sure.
assistant or someone
Right, that's a lot of confidence, but sure.
else. So in your journey, when did you start? When did fitness in generally, in
I
general
mean,
enter?
it's been a part of life, honestly. Like I've always been into sports since I was a kid, right? So, but I only hit the gym probably when I was 21, 22 years old. So, I mean, before that,
Right,
never hit the gym. But always sports has been first love. But I think as you age, like sports is not equal to fitness. That's also something that people don't really start
right,
equating, right? So being fit or being sports or playing sports rather does not mean that someone is fit, right? Rather than that, I think right now when people are closer to their 30s and inching towards their 40s, playing sports is a sure shot way to get injured.
of course,
If you're not fit, right?
right.
So I think I've always been somewhat closer to the sports side of things, and hitting the gym just came about when I was in college, right? Because other people are hitting the gym, right? So let's also go hit the gym kind of scene.
Mm,
So that's always been part of my lifestyle. So even when I started Accenture, I was hitting the gym. I was always been training. Not I've never been the buff guy. I've never been the fittest guy on the floor, right? But I always had a lifestyle of eating well, hitting the gym, getting your walks in. So I've never been completely out of shape. I think I've always probably been very, very lean, probably once or twice my life, but it's something that I
mm,
don't really enjoy being there. So I don't really do that a lot.
right.
But it's been part of my life, right? So even during my time at Accenture, it was a thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's I think that's true. I think sports, of course, these days. In your in I am in my mid 30s, and I don't think I think pickleball is the only thing which I can play now,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like without the risk of getting injured. But
Hmm.
yeah, of course, you need to be fit to be able to play sports at after
Yeah.
a certain
Yeah.
age. And sports doesn't define fitness. It's more of
Not
a
at all. Yeah. It's a big misconception,
right.
honestly. Yeah.
And in your case, so there's so you were with Accenture for 5 years, and then you left Accenture, and then you joined the Outfit Gym, if I'm not
Yeah.
wrong.
So
Um,
I actually there was a point in my career when I had to head to the UK to work
mm,
for about a year. So like after I came back from the UK, there was an inflection point in my career where I had to like upskill to stay relevant. And
mm,
I had to learn a whole
right.
new technology and all of that. And for me, and there was an opportunity to go back to the UK. And at that point, I was like, boss, I don't want to do this anymore because it is honestly I don't see the effect of my work, and I don't see this happening, right? So sorry, one second. Yeah, yeah. So that's when I think I kind of like did my certification in strength and conditioning, and I learned for that through the Outfit, which is a Bangalore-based gym. And
Mm,
yeah, I finished. I did my learning with them, and I finished the exam. I was still working with Accenture, and there was this point where I was like, okay, fine, let me give it a shot, at least with coaching and stuff. Maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't like it.
mm-hmm.
And then there was this point where I finished my certification. I was working in the morning with Accenture. So yeah, I would hit the gym coaching people in the morning,
Right.
and I was working with Accenture in the evening. So like 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. with Outfit in the morning, and then I used to live in Whitefield then, and this was in Indiranagar, so I would cycle to Indiranagar, and
Oh
then
wow.
yeah, I would cycle
Okay.
there, take the
From
sessions,
Whitefield to
cycle.
Indira you used to cycle
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the
I
way.
cycle it. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, cycle there, take sessions, cycle back, and then head to work by 12, and then I would work from 12 to 9. So that was my life for like probably 6 to 7 months, and then after that, I was like, okay, fine, let's take the jump and let's go for it, kind of a situation. Yeah.
Amazing. And then you
Rachit,
so
just give me a second. No, can I just pause
sure.
this because my dogs are barking. There's someone at the door, and they're just
Sure, sure,
crazy.
sure.
Just 1 second. I'm so
Absolutely.
sorry. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I'm
Yeah,
so sorry. I'm so sorry about that. It's just unplanned. There was
that's
a dog
okay.
walker. I have a dog walker, and he was supposed to
Okay,
come way later, but then came off early. All right.
right. Yeah. So, okay. So we were at the position we were. So this was around 2018, right? And
This
then you
was around 2018 to yeah 2018 or so, and then I took the
interesting.
jump completely. Meaning, there was this point where I was done with Accenture, and there was this thing where I was like, what do I do next, right? Do I,
Right.
because I'm very middle class. I don't I don't come from too much wealth and stuff. So it is a very it is very I was doing well in my job. Like, I was very good at Accenture. I was one of
Right.
honestly really good at my job. Really, I would have gone up the ladders very fast. I knew it. Okay, but
Right.
then so it is really hard to let go of that
Mm,
solid, stable, safe
correct.
job to go for something which is going to probably pay me 10 times less, you know,
Yes.
and starting off, right? And I
Right.
knew it. I knew that was the scene. And, but it was more of like, if you don't do it now, then when, right?
Of course.
Or what is the worst that could happen? Honestly, that's the question I always ask myself whenever I have to take any decision, right? Even now,
Right.
even today, what is the worst that could happen? And I think over there, the worst that could happen was it will not work out. And
Mm,
I still had age on my side. I was probably, what, 27, not too old. I was 27 or
right.
26, 27, 28 then.
Correct.
And I could have always written my GMAT or done something, headed off, or joined some other place. And I had belief in myself that I would figure it out.
Mm,
So that was basically it, right? So when I told my manager at Accenture I'm leaving, and then he flipped. He was like, "What are you doing?" Like, like he didn't understand. And
mm,
it was, and obviously family back, they were also like kind of like scared for like, what are you doing? And
of course.
but yeah, so all of that was there because there's a stigma of you're going to be a gym trainer and all of those things. So all of that was there. So but okay, I think it was just about what's the worst that could happen, and I jumped into
Mm,
it, and then I was full time working with the outfit for a few couple of years,
right.
and I think it was always clear that at some point I wanted to open my own gym.
Mm,
Um, and around 2020 is when we finalized the location HSR layout.
okay.
And this is Feb 2020. I signed the place.
Okay.
I had a couple of partners as well. We signed the
Mm-hmm.
place, and then COVID hits in March,
Of
and
course.
then everything is shut until September almost, right? And you know
Right.
how gyms took a hit. It was a backlash for gyms
Yes.
because people were like, it's too sweaty, it's too, all of that came up, right? So
Right.
it was a very big period of uncertainty because I was pretty much not doing nothing
For
during the
almost 2 years.
lockdown. Yeah,
Mm.
sorry.
For
No,
almost
I
two,
mean,
1.5, 2 years, right?
yeah, during the first wave, rather, right? During the first
Right.
wave of around 3 to 4 months or 5 months, I was not doing
Mm.
much, right? Probably taking a
Mm.
few couple of hours a day, I was doing something. But apart from that, it was
Right.
just me and my thoughts, right?
Wow.
And I've spent money on equipment and getting that stuff, and so a lot of thinking about, oh man, have I done the right decision? Is it a good thing?
Mm.
Is it a bad thing? I don't know, right? And then September we open, and one more wave hits after that as well,
Yes.
and again we have to shut down, and so it was a hard start. Like, I'll not say it was smooth. It was very hard. That
Right.
being said, like now I'm all in, right? So there's
Yeah.
no backing out at this point. So made it work. Like I think a lot of our clients supported us. We took sessions inside illegally, honestly, inside shuttered doors. Like, because
Right.
even the people were like little unfrustrated with staying inside, so they would come after the
Mm.
gym, and we would open the shutters and get them in and close the shutters. So all of that happened for a while. It was a
Right.
tough time, honestly. Very,
Of
very,
course.
very uncertain. Like, not
Yeah.
tough,
Just,
but just uncertain. And then your mind just plays games with you all the time. So this is
mm.
all the way up to 2021 ish, right? And
Right.
then I think that's when COVID was almost done, and there's all over. But I think there was this inflection point in around May 2021 or so,
Mm-hmm.
where the business, we were still, my gym was franchised with the outfit,
Mm-hmm.
and with the outfit brand. And I was like, where's this going kind of a scene. I think, I mean, this
Hmm.
is all the way until 2022, sorry.
Right.
2022. Yeah. So 2022 Jan is when I separated from them, and I wanted to do my own
Hmm.
thing. And Lifter was born Jan 2022.
Interesting.
So Jan 2022 till June 2022, we just ambled along, went along that way, and still we were not going anywhere, right? It was more or
Right.
less me after paying salaries and all that stuff. I had like probably 5,000 in the account, and we were
Hmm.
like, where is this going? Like, have I given up all of my things just to pay rent and salaries and then be left with nothing?
Right.
Because I was also not taking much of a salary, honestly, apart from just covering my rent and basic needs.
Correct.
That is when I did my first big jump or leap of faith into educating myself.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm sure you've heard of Alex Hormozy. Alex
Yes.
Hormozy started off his career as well, or his first big business was something called
As
Gym
it's from
Launch.
gyms. Yes, I remember that.
Yes,
I
right.
remember
So
reading
he
that
had
in his book, The Leads, the 100 million leads
Yeah, I have
book.
all of it right here, right? So it's still a thing that I go back to and go
Yes.
and I read every time here and there. So
Hmm.
he is a big influence in my life. Like
Hmm.
honestly, I still listen to him every day. Just this morning, no, this last evening, his podcast was I was listening to. So his business was something called Gym Launch, which I went through. It was a lot of money. It was because it's an American business, it's American people, so you know how American consultants are like, right? So
Of
it was a
course.
huge amount of money for me, right? I couldn't afford it, but then it was a leap of faith, right? Either go big or go home kind of a scene. But then I
Hmm.
learned a lot of things. I learned that the gym business is a sales and marketing game. You cannot
Hmm.
wait for customers to walk into your place unless you are on the high street and unless you have a big, huge place and it just calls out to people, which ours was not, right?
Right.
So we learned a lot. I learned a lot about sales and marketing. I learned a lot about creating high ticket offers and creating bundled products
Right.
rather than selling, for example, rather than selling a toothpaste, I'm going to sell you a toothpaste and a toothbrush and a floss, all of it into
Hmm.
bundled into one, something like that, right? So bundling, something that we learned, and how do you upsell, how do you cross sell, how do you retain, like what all do you do
Correct.
to keep the customer happy. So these are things that we started focusing on. These are things that we slowly learned. I mean, we're not perfect, right? Even I think 3 4 years down the line, we're still not
Hmm.
perfect, but it's something that we try to do better and better at. So that was something that we really invested on, and I think I ended up spending around 25 to 30 lakhs on it over a period of 10 to 12 months.
Wow.
But
This was the course,
it's
just on the course.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And but it's just the power of knowledge, honestly, right?
Right.
And at this point, the person that I've become because of learning all those things and the kind of things that I know is just crazy. So I think that was the first step of me understanding that, boss, you need to level up, right? You cannot
Hmm.
sit there and if something is not going wrong, if something is not going well, it's probably you. I mean, it's definitely you who is at fault because you're the be all end all of the business, right?
Right.
Everything, the buck stops with you, so you got to take
Correct.
responsibility and figure out what's wrong.
Right.
So that was the first step or the first inflection point of the business, honestly,
Hmm.
where we got an upward jump. And then slowly we were able to add on facilities one by one, one by one.
Wow. Right.
And yeah, 4 years, this is 2022, right? Yeah. So 4 years later, here we are. So we are right opening our eighth
Amazing.
gym in Feb. In between that, I've done other like I have done a 1 year internship, not internship, 1 year. What's it called? I had an accountability coach. There's this
Hmm.
business coach called Rajiv Talreja. You must have seen his
Yes,
ads, or
I know
right? So
Rajiv.
they have a cohort as well, like for teaching you stuff
Right.
on how to run a business and stuff.
Correct.
And I learned a lot from them as well. I was with them for a year, right? So
Hmm.
that business was, or that learning was more about how do you manage internally.
Hmm.
The first learning was all about externally, right? How do you get
Right.
clients and stuff? But this is more about how do you manage your team? How do you create
Right.
process
How do you
structure?
scale up,
How
create process?
Yeah, how do you review your team's performances?
Right.
How all these kind of stuff, right? Important things as well, because I
Right.
think that's where a lot of people are skipping the ball. Is to
Hmm.
there might be a great a salesman, a great doctor, a great coach, a great something, right? But they're not great
Right.
leaders, they're not
Hmm.
great team people. So I had to, all of this was learned. I didn't, I didn't do an MBA. I didn't do some kind of things. These are all on the job, or rather
Right.
signed up for these kind of courses. And I've spent
Right.
money, right? I've honestly
Of course.
spent it because I know that I will make value out of it.
Of course. And
And
these are
that
expensive cohorts or expensive courses for sure.
these are, I mean, there are people I know who have signed up for it and not done anything about it. There are
Hmm.
people who buy a lot of books and say I will read a book a week and 52 books over 52 weeks, but they don't
Right.
apply anything out of it, right? So there's no point, right?
Right.
So I would rather that you read one book a year and you do something out of what you learn, right?
Correct.
That's when you can gain something out of the book. So
Right.
so yeah, I mean, I think that's made me into a person who is always willing to learn. Even as of today, I use AI a lot, right? I mean, it is something that helps me. I mean, I use it in my copywriting. I use it to, I mean, I don't blindly use it. Obviously, I just don't say, hey, give me this, right? I refine it. I give it a lot of
Correct.
information. We have built tools we've built
Hmm.
meal planners for our clients.
Oh, that's very
We've built
interesting.
a lot of stuff from AI as well. So
Hmm.
it's just about being keeping your eyes open, keeping your
Hmm.
ears open to just learn what's happening out there, and we are
Right.
always learning. So I think this is something that I
Hmm.
also inculcate as a culture within the team as well, as to figure it out. Don't come to me with problems, come to me with solutions, come to me with
Yeah.
what have you tried to fix the problem. It might have worked, might have not worked, and if you didn't work, I will put my head in with you and I will try to solve the problem, but do not come to me with the problem in
Hmm.
the first place, right? That's a core principle of Lifter, if you ask me, within the team. And I think
Hmm.
those things have been good. So it's been a good learning over the last four
Right.
years,
Right.
4+ years. Great learning, great growth. We doubled in capacity from last year to this year. And
Oh wow.
yeah, so operations have taken a hit, but now we are stabilizing. This year we're focusing a little
Hmm.
more on brand building, rather than just opening gyms mindlessly. So we're just trying
Hmm.
to do a lot of events, a lot of collabs with brands, and
Right. Right.
therefore this podcast is happening.
Of
Like
course. Of
we're
course.
just trying to see what else can we do to
Can you do?
improve.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
No,
that's
that's interesting, and I think
yeah.
even your own brand, what you're building, right? Like I keep seeing your LinkedIn and around. Like I think now things are becoming founder led, right? A
Hmm.
lot of brands are now founder first brands, and I
Yeah.
think that's the new shift which is happening in the last 1 or 2 years, and
Very true. Very true. It's something I learned very late of last year, because
yeah,
I've always been a guy who likes to take a back seat and let the coaches or let
yes,
the staff do the talking and let them
correct,
lead. But then I realized that, okay, if I can do something and lead from the front, so since it's a gym, I have to do something physical. And if I can do something, I'm not saying I need to go and win the Olympics or something, right? But if I can do
right,
something, put my head to something and lead from the front, definitely the team is inspired by it. They will also do something about
exactly,
it. And similarly, that inspiration goes down to the clients that they coach.
of course,
And I think that's why October of last year, I picked up running and I ran my
mm,
first marathon in Jan. So in 3 months, I trained for a marathon. I went to
right,
Mumbai. I think that when we first spoke, I told you I was traveling to Mumbai, right? So
yes,
I was
right.
actually traveling for the Mumbai
For the
marathon.
marathon, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I
Mm.
ran the marathon. I did really well, and it's been good. And I think that's permeated down to the team, and now they're running and they're doing
Oh
stuff and they're
wow.
taking care of their health. So I think
Right.
that's been an eye opener as well. That I need to do something and lead from the front, because
Mm.
it just that the discipline rubs off onto your team as well.
Right. And with that, the others follow. Absolutely. And tell
Yeah.
me a bit about the AI meal planner and how you're using AI in your daily life
Well,
these days.
see, with the meal planner, very simple. I mean, we just put it into ChatGPT and just tell them,
Mm.
imagine I am a nutrition coach and, I'm trying to
Right.
create. So take XYZ information from the client. And so we've been able to put it into a nice web page. I've fed the code into the web. So it gives you the code. Now, I don't know what languages. I don't know anything about coding apart from what I did long
Mm.
back, right? So I don't know the code, but it gives you a code snippet. I take it, I paste it into our CRM tool, which also helps build web pages and stuff. So, and now
Right.
I've gotten a great QR code that my clients can scan, takes them to the page, and now they put in their details, they put in their things that they like to eat, how many meals,
Right.
non-veg, veg, and it spits out a meal plan for you. So
Right.
it took me probably half an hour to build, but
Wow.
it's a great thing that is being used every day by our clients, right? So I think
Right.
that is something that really helps. We use AI a lot in our front end, as in we run a lot of ads on performance marketing. So when
Right.
people click on our ads and they reach out to us, there is an AI chatbot conversing with them via WhatsApp during the
Hmm.
times that our team is not responding to them. So we
Right.
use AI there as well. And obviously, we use AI a lot with creating creatives and
Correct.
sending out posters and those
Of
stuff
course.
as well.
Yeah.
So we've used.
Creative, I think in general, creative content, creation of the content is now, I think, a good use of AI. Of course,
Very, yeah, yeah,
progress with
100%. I
teams
mean,
using their own imagination and,
yeah, exactly, right. I mean, it still gives you really poor content if you just give it really poor prompts. But I think the skill that people need to learn nowadays is how to prompt better. I think
yes,
if you can, if that can be
absolutely.
a skill that can be taught to people, they can do wonders with AI.
Of course.
Yeah, so I think
100%.
that's where people really say that, oh no, AI is not working for me, is because they haven't put in the effort to learn how to work with
Absolutely.
AI. So yeah, so even with our chatbots, I spent probably 2 hours training the chatbot on certain
Hmm.
things on how to respond and give it scenarios and stuff like that. And after that, it was good to go. I
Hmm.
mean, yeah. So that initial kind of effort people don't put in, and they don't reap the benefits of what AI
Of
could be.
course,
Yeah.
100%. And let's talk a bit about the business model, right? First, let's talk about one of your posts that said that most gyms are designed to fail their members. Walk me through, what observation led you to that
So,
conclusion?
so currently, if you notice, if you, I mean, I don't know how many gyms still do this, but back in the day when you had your Snap Fitnesses and your Goals gyms, the first thing that you walk in when you look at the gym is you see a lot of cardio equipment.
Hmm.
Right, you would probably see a front desk, and then after the next look from the front desk is just a lot of cardio equipment, and the strength training equipment was all kept in the back side of
Yes,
the this
right.
one, right? It was basically just to show or put it in people's head that the cardio equipment is all you need, because they don't want the crowd going to the strength training place because there's not enough equipment to handle everybody.
Yeah, okay.
That was number one, that a lot of people would think that okay, the cardio is good enough for me, and they would just go probably do like 20 minutes of a treadmill, 20 minutes of a rower, 20 minutes something else, and then they would just get head back home,
Hmm.
which is most of the people back in the day, or maybe even now, honestly, right? Because even if you go to a regular gym and then this guy comes up to you and you ask him, okay, what do I do today? He's going to tell you the
Right.
same thing, right? 20 minutes on the treadmill, 20 minutes on this, 20 minutes on that, and you're good for the
Yeah, I
day.
think it's still the same. Yeah.
It's still the same, yeah, I know, right? So um and predominantly what happens in your regular gym is gym memberships are still being sold, let's say at a medium level gym, not even talking too high level, right? It's being sold at around
Right.
the 15 to 20K annual membership range.
Correct.
Now let me tell you that this is a loss making venture for the gym unless they sell so many of these memberships. So let's say if the gym is at max can hold, let's say, 200 people at a time or during
Hmm.
a day, right? They will have at least 800 people on registration,
Hmm.
active members, right, who have paid you that 15K or whatever, because
Right.
they know that they are not going to show up, right?
Right.
They know that, see, first of all, the 15K, or even the gyms are lower than that, right? Your 9,999 and your 12,999, all these numbers, right? In
Right.
today's world, it is not a big amount for a lot of people. Even if it is easy to say, ah, it's okay, I will go tomorrow, I will go day
Hmm.
after tomorrow, and then they'll
Right.
stop going, right? And it's definitely in the gym's interest for those people to not show up, right? And whereas in and basically that's about it. I mean, the model is very simple.
Hmm.
Either they don't, and there are a few people who do hit the gym, they pay a 15K, they go regularly to the gym, but then they don't know what to do. So then the coach is always pushing you to take personal training. So that's an
Yes.
upsell that they do within the gym to
Right.
do personal training, and then they end up. I mean, I'm not against it, right? I definitely am for taking a coach rather than second guessing yourself and wasting time in the gym. Like I always
Hmm.
tell a lot of my people who want to start off the gym and who don't want to come to Lifter, for example, because they're not there or they're somewhere else, whatever, right? I'm like, you invest in a personal trainer for 3 months, right? Get a good personal trainer who is willing to teach you everything, right? He is willing to teach you how to. I mean, honestly, in this day and age, you just need someone to keep you accountable. Everything
Right.
else can be taken off the internet, right? There are meal plans, there are ways to eat, there are
Yes.
training plans. Everything is available on the internet. There are training plans for a whole year if you really want it, right? AI can give you a basic training plan that you
Of
want,
course.
right? You just need someone to keep you accountable, because I think there is no technology right now where there is someone who can. So even you can just get any random coach and tell them
Mm.
that, boss, this is my training plan, this is my meal plan. Your job is to make sure I do it, and give me a
Mm.
lot of shit, for lack of a better word, if I don't do it, right?
Right.
So I think if and I tell my friends all of this: do it for 3 months, right? You build the habit. If you do it for 100 days back to back to back, you will build that habit, and then you can just do whatever you want to do, and you will definitely keep going. So that's a
Mm.
good way to utilize one of these 15K gyms, right? That being said, most of the population still is not like this. They would prefer someone to take care of all of it for them, because they have other things to
Correct.
worry about. They have their kids, they have their jobs, they have their meetings, they have their personal life. They have a lot of other things to keep them occupied.
Of
So
course.
why they would rather that someone else did all of this rather than me having to do this. Therefore, the personal trainer concept still works. Therefore, they're okay to pay the trainer and get that going. So I think most gyms are put in that bracket of, I will sign up 800 people, and I know for a fact 60% of them will not show up after a month, and then the rest of them, some of them will train by themselves. Okay, fine, that's our losses that we write off, and some of them
Mm.
will move on to a personal training, and that's where we make our extra surplus money as well.
Wow. So if there's
Yeah.
someone who's signing up for a gym and training by themselves and going every day, then that's basically a loss for the gym.
That's not looked upon too well by the gym. Right,
Mm.
they're not. I mean, that's not money making for the gym at all,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because they're taking up space, and they're being sold at a really cheap membership. So
Mm.
yeah, yeah,
Very
yeah,
interesting. So, and
yeah.
let's talk a bit about Lifter now. Like, how is Lifter's business model different from
So it's
conventional?
very simple. So how we start off, honestly, is that we take in all members through a program where we cover all of their training, nutrition, and accountability. So
Mm.
whatever I spoke about, right? Like, we
Right.
have 24 hours into 7 days in a week, right? That's 168 hours. We spend probably 4 to 5 hours in a gym in a week, right? So the other 160 odd hours, what is someone doing with their life, is
Mm.
way more important when it comes to a long-term fitness goal, right? So, what do you eat? How is your sleep like? What's your movement like? What's your water intake like? All these things are way
Right.
more important when it comes to a physique goal, right? Which is where honestly, if you ask me, 95% of people, they want to hit the gym because they want to look better, they want to feel better, they want to look good in a suit. They want to
Right.
play with their kids better. If you ask me, why do people want to hit the gym, only 2% is going to tell you that I want to win CrossFit games, or I want to do hit a 200 kg deadlift, right? Most of the people, if through the thousands of people that we have met, they want to lose weight, but losing weight also is a very low level goal, right? They are, I mean, a very high level, rather, a very high level goal. What is your
Mm.
true this one? Why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to look better? Because
Mm.
my peers don't respect me at my workplace. I'm the team leader of my team, but they don't respect me enough.
Mm.
My kids are learning from me, and I want to be a role model for them.
Right.
I'm a new mother. I want to get back into shape because I'm not able to run behind my kid.
Correct.
Or else the doctor has told me to lose weight because I can't even conceive. It'll be
Mm.
dangerous, right? So these are the
These
actual,
are the whys behind the actual.
these are the real whys behind why I want to lose weight, right?
Yeah.
And what happens here is, these guys, they've tried something, right? But because of all
Mm.
the knowledge, the extra knowledge being pushed out there, they're not able to understand what's going to help me and what's not going to help me. So we
Right.
start everybody through this a 6 week orientation or a foundation course where we
Which
take
is
care
like a
of,
mandatory thing. They if they want
which
to
is
join,
a
they
man,
have to
I
go
wouldn't
through.
say mandatory, but it is highly recommended,
Right.
right? And we kind of like put people in through a sales pitch to really tell them that, the boss, this is why you need it. I'm
Mm.
gonna say it's a sales pitch because yes, we are selling it to them, but we are
Mm.
also very convinced that, boss, you need it.
Right.
Because without this, we can train you for the next 12 months no problem, right? But if you're
Hmm.
gonna go out of the gym and then do whatever you like, there's
Hmm.
no point. And then you're
Right.
gonna just come back and tell us that, dude, I'm coming and training with you, but I'm not seeing any results. It's because your life outside the gym, which is 95% of your life, is just not being spent well enough, right?
Correct.
So we've tried to create habits, we try to create some systems, some kind of process in their lifestyle, so they can be a little more consistent with their sleeping, eating, water intake, and all of that. And
Right.
then when they come into the gym, because we are very clear with the fact that hitting the gym is not to lose weight. Hitting the
Hmm.
gym is to get stronger, build some lean muscle, get faster, be more agile. Like, these are these performance characteristics that we do out of training.
Right.
Your weight loss, you're looking better, you're feeling better, all happens in your food intake, your resting, your
Hmm.
walking, your light jogging is where your
Right.
actual benefits come on the side. So we try
Correct.
to do all both of it together over the first 6 weeks. We handhold them, and for the confidence, or for them to have confidence in us, we're like, boss, we guarantee these results for you, or else we'll give you your
Hmm.
money back, right?
Hmm.
So then they're like, oh man, these guys are very sure of what they do, let
Right.
me give it a shot. And if they actually give it, see, and again, they need to meet us halfway, right? It's not like buying a chocolate, for example, right? Let's say you give
Hmm.
me 10 rupees and I give you a chocolate, and the transaction's over. Here you
Right.
still pay me, and you still
Correct.
need to hit the gym, you need to eat well. So if you
Yes.
can meet me halfway, I'm not even saying do it 100%, right? You do it
Right.
80%, people
Hmm.
will see change. And once
Change.
they see that change in the first 6 weeks, then they're hooked.
Yeah.
Then they're good to go for life, right? Because they
Right.
know how to do it. And then we're like, okay, after 6 weeks, we're like, okay,
Hmm.
boss, we have taught you what you need to know. Now you're good to go by yourself.
Hmm.
You continue training with us for the long run, and now you take care of the food by yourself, because you don't need that hand holding anymore. So
Right.
that's our business model, very plain and simple,
Very
right?
interesting.
First
Right.
6 weeks we hand hold you, we teach you, we guarantee you results. You see some change, you be convinced
Hmm.
that this works for you, and after
Right.
that you come train with us. And we still will check in with you but we won't do it daily, we'll do it on a bi-weekly
Right.
process. We
Right.
will do testing events with you. We will test your deadlift. We'll test your pull-ups. We will do goal setting events with you. So we'll still
Hmm.
do all of these things after your 6 weeks.
Right.
But we will just point you towards the right direction, but we have taught you everything. You have all the knowledge,
You have the
and now we
knowledge.
have helped you separate the
Hmm.
fluff from what you actually need,
Right.
right?
Very.
And then
Yeah.
we throw in some events, we throw in some community stuff, and it's as
Hmm.
simple as that.
Right. Yeah.
Honestly,
Simple
anybody
to
can do
say,
it.
but yeah, executionally, I think there's a lot more which would be going. Yeah.
Executionally, it's very hard.
Yes.
That's the hard part. Yeah.
Right, right. And
Yeah.
especially when, yeah, community is a very interesting, aspect. And I read somewhere where it says that lifter is not a workout, it's an emotion. So,
Hmm.
that's more, I think that comes from the community that you build.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
how does your community work? Like, do you have a community on WhatsApp? Do you keep doing like, what does the lifter community look like?
So first of all, the community stems from the people we hire, right? So I think from the
Mm-hmm.
hiring process itself, it is when we hire. Honestly, if you ask me, I don't look for certifications. I don't look for
Mm.
all those things, right? Because I'm not hiring an AI ML engineer or something who's going to build your next big product. Okay.
Right.
To the core of my heart, I believe fitness is a very simple thing to do. It's just overcomplicated by a lot of people. And it's also a
Mm.
very simple teaching. It's simple to teach as well. Right. So
Right.
the max to max, what we do is we hire people with the right attitude, the right vibe, who fits the lifter vibe, if you want to call it. And then
Mm.
we teach them everything. Some of them,
Mm.
obviously, they come as experienced coaches, and then we just have to like realign them to what we do.
Right.
And then it's as simple as that, right? So we teach them the right form. If someone can't do this form, what is the breakdown form? How do you make it harder for them? How do you make it easier for them? What's an alternate
Right.
exercise? So these are the things that we teach them as well, in terms and form correction, all those things. But
Right.
base is to have that attitude to help. That's very important. You can't
Hmm.
and be a team player. And honestly, this is very hard to find. So it's
Right.
it's easier said than done, but it's very hard to find. So we start looking for these individuals who can be a good coach, rather than finding coaches. It's hard. So I was listening to Alex Formose's podcast just from yesterday,
Hmm.
his
Hmm.
latest podcast, if you ask me, right?
Hmm.
And this is what he said. It is very hard to teach the right attitude, or to change someone's attitude. it's way easier to teach them these kind of skills rather than
Hmm.
having to change their attitude. So it's just
Right.
easier to find somebody with the right attitude and teach them
Correct.
the fitness coaching stuff rather than the other way around. So
Hmm.
we basically, I mean, I'm not saying we have figured it out, but we try to
You tried
kind of
it.
like hire these kind of people. That's where the
Right.
community starts building from.
Hmm.
Apart from that, we have, when it was only one or two gyms and I was in the middle of the action, it was easy because the community aspect stems from what I want to get going, right? So
Of
there's some
course.
event or some cricket event or a badminton event, or we just do some we've done drinking nights out, right? We've got drunk at the I mean, we've got drunk at the gym. Like we've done a lot of stuff at the we've done a
Right.
lot of stuff, right? So
Right.
a lot of things. So we've done parties, we have done sports events, we've done community events, we've done
Hmm.
karaoke. So we do a lot of these things
Right.
with the team. So now that I'm not part of these on-ground events, the thing is that we just keep the structure the same, right? That we
Hmm.
mandate these kind of events to happen, and like for example, once a quarter we need a outside event. Every month we need an inside event. So
Hmm.
that way the community stays alive, and obviously we
Right.
do a lot of fun and games sometimes during the week before and after the workouts.
Hmm.
And honestly, I think it's easier to also build the community when we have a lot of like-minded members as well. So
Of
if
course.
you should know, let's say we are priced significantly higher than your regular cult membership. For example, if someone's
Hmm.
paying a 20K at here, they are going to end up paying probably three times more with us. But that's the kind of people also that we get who are,
Hmm.
like very like-minded,
Right.
and then they're willing to be part of the community, and then so
Right.
it's a lot of that's how the community builds, honestly, right? And then
Hmm.
now we're trying to like improve the community by doing a lot of these external events and bring in a lot of runners and see how we can do some collabs with different brands and all of those things
Hmm.
now. Yeah.
Interesting, very interesting. And wow, it's already more than 45 minutes we've been talking.
Oh
So
man, time's flown.
it was a very deep and very thoughtful, conversation. I love your story, love what you stand for, and love how you're building what you stand for. Final couple of questions, more on the advice side, because there are, I would say there would be thousands of people, who hate their corporate job and dream about, or maybe they don't hate their corporate job like you, but they dream about about leaving tech to leaving their job to build something which
Yeah.
they deeply care about. If you go back to 2018, what would be one advice that you wish that someone would have given you at that time?
I mean, advice. Honestly, I jumped. So I mean, there's no regrets for me that
Right.
back then, right? But I think if someone back then would have told me the same question that I had to ask myself, which is, what's the
Hmm.
worst that could happen, man? Just go for it,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
And possibly back then would be I learned a lot through trial and error. So
Hmm.
possibly someone to point you in the right direction, maybe, I don't know,
Hmm.
right? Someone to as mentors maybe in the
Right.
industry, right? Because I don't think I had that kind of this one as well.
Hmm.
But I think the advice is to basically learn, right? Be a sponge for
Right.
knowledge. And I don't mean like knowledge which will take your business to another level. It's not
Hmm.
about just having random stuff that doesn't apply
Yes.
to you. Have knowledge that can. So if you're not getting customers, learn how to do sales, right? Just
Hmm.
open YouTube. There's Grant Cardone, there's Alex Hormoz, there's so many people that you
Yes.
can do,
Of
right?
course.
If you don't know how to run ads, go. I mean, everything is available for free. You don't even have to do a paid this thing at this point,
Right.
right?
Right.
So go on ChatGPT. I mean, right, even before this call, I was actually telling like I need to rewire or restart my hiring DNA. How do I start hiring from scratch? What are the questions I can
Hmm.
ask? So
Hmm.
everything today, if you ask me, how can someone start? Get a
Right.
membership, get a premium paid version of ChatGPT. It's
Hmm.
$2,000 a month, but it's probably the best amount of money. So I think the best tools I probably use right now is $2,000 a month on ChatGPT,
Right.
4,000 rupees on Canva Pro for a year for all the
Right.
it's a gold mine, right? And
Right.
then just start. I mean, don't be stuck in analysis paralysis. And a lot of
Hmm.
people try to start only when their perfect version is ready. But I think I
Right.
told you in our first call, there's something I learned from Rajit Alreja in his
Hmm.
first one of these events that I went for, where he said version one is better than version none. And it stuck
Hmm.
with me
Right.
since then. And
Right.
since then, people have always also, my own team has come back to me saying that why don't you take some more time to think about it before you let it fly? And I'm
Hmm.
like, listen, I will let it fly and I will release it first, because then I have a public, what do you say, accountability to get it
Right.
going. Otherwise, I'm just going to sit and stew on it and think
Hmm.
about it and think about it and not do anything in the first
Right.
place.
Of course. Of
So
course.
get it done. Start. Version one better than version none is a
None.
great, I think, great
Absolutely.
advice I still use today. And
Yeah.
ask yourself the same question, right? What's the worst that could happen?
Hmm.
When I had to leave outfit and open lifter, I asked myself the same thing. I wrote down on a piece of paper what are the pros and cons of doing this by yourself, and
Right.
you know. So yeah, that's, and I think and also there's also counter advice probably I would give people is that you don't have to leave your corporate job. Okay,
Hmm.
like I mean, you can stay in your corporate job. You don't have to enjoy it as well. But as long as your corporate job is giving you the money and the avenue to enjoy your life outside of it, it's
Right.
not a bad idea. But yeah, if you are spending your entire day and your weekdays and your weekends and you're not enjoying your life outside of it, probably yeah, find a better place. But then you can have a 9 to 5 and you can still have a good quality of life.
Hmm.
So that's also something that I tell a lot of people, that you don't, because this, right, because for example, I'll tell you something like, I'm 35, right,
Hmm.
this year, and then I'm still in a very, I'm still running the business. It's not steady at this at all, right? It sounds great, 8 gyms, all of these things, but
Hmm.
it's still a growing little baby,
Of
right?
course.
So if someone is cannot handle this kind of
Hmm.
uncertainty in their life, it's
Yes.
not for everybody, is what I would also say
Hmm.
at the same
Yes.
point.
You should be
Yeah,
okay with uncertainty. You should
you
be
should
okay.
be very okay with uncertainty.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
And if you someone who gets easily flustered and easily you just get demotivated all the time, then it's probably not for you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also as an entrepreneur, you need to be an optimist.
Yes.
If you're pessimist or
Yes.
too real in your
Yeah.
life,
Yeah.
then
Yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
mean, you always need to be able to like see the finer, brighter side of things, right? Like
right,
things have happened, bad things happen all the time to us, right? But
of
I
course.
always try to see the good out of it. And
Hmm.
honestly, nothing. It doesn't. It's not that bad. So I think in hindsight,
Right.
whenever I think about all the bad things that have happened, it's not that bad. And really bad things have happened. So it's yeah. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. Great. Great.
And I
No.
think one, I don't know if we have time or no, but then I think that day when in our first call we also spoke about a lot of people, a lot of these free coaches, and a lot of people who are good in their craft wanting to start their own business.
Yes.
Is
Yes.
my thing to them also is that learn to work with people and
Hmm.
learn to be a good leader. I think that's the most important skill, right? Right now, I don't do anything fitness focused. I don't do with my team. I don't do anything customer facing. My entire day goes in making my team's life better, because they're
Hmm.
the ones who execute on the ground, and
Right.
that's what every leader needs to learn.
Hmm.
Honestly,
So someone
yeah.
who's good in their skills, the next thing which they should be learning is leadership skills
Hells yeah, yeah,
before
yeah.
they
And they
get
need to be
started.
leading. They should not be directing.
Hmm.
They need to be able to get their hands dirty. Like there are countless number of times I've had to clean the bathrooms of my gyms, even
Right.
as for us as early as I mean as late as 2 months back, right?
Hmm.
Always be ready to roll your sleeves up and like get your hands dirty, because that's what your team sees you as doing as well. They will follow and they will
Of
have that
course.
mindset. Not to
Yeah.
clean toilets. I've banned everybody except me from cleaning toilets in my gym. But everything else, yeah. Yeah.
Fair. Yeah. Amazing. Great, Anish. Thank you so much for
Yeah, it was a good
the
time. Good
lovely
chat.
50 odd minutes. It has been very enlightening for me, and I've learned a lot. I'm very new to the industry. I don't have I've the only I think I've tried joining a gym twice and failed.
Okay.
Once I did not like I did not continue. Second time I think I did not have a trainer and I got hernia.
Yeah.
So after that I was like, okay. Since then, I've
Yeah.
just been
Same advice for you as well. Just get someone, lock him in
yeah.
for 3 months, make sure he sits on your head and gets you to do things,
And
right?
get
And
yes, yes,
yeah,
exactly. I
yeah.
think yeah. I when you said that this is the advice I'm giving to my friends, and I'm like yeah, this is something which I should take as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, yeah. Or else
But
just come to a
yeah,
lifter gym and it'll be they will take care of it.
absolutely yes. Great,
Yeah.
great. Yeah. Thank you so much for
Yeah. Thanks.
all our listeners. That was Anish Menon. He's the founder of LIFTR Strength and Conditioning. And this was ChaiNet, the Agentic Commerce podcast, where we learn from brands and learn how they're building in an AI world. Thank you, Anish. Thank you for your time
Thank you so much,
and
Sachin.
lovely